These dumplings are made with sourdough discard and they turn out light and fluffy and beautiful. And so I'm going to show you all the steps to make it so that you can make this at home for your family. Hi, I'm Jenny Pryor from Living Bread Baker, and I'm really excited to share with you one of our family favorites and our go-tos. Even when we go on vacation, it's when we don't have all our kitchen tools at hand. This is really easy to make. And everyone in my family, even my pickiest eaters, find something that they love about my easy chicken and dumplings. So first of all, you should have some sourdough discard to make this dough, the dumpling dough. And if you don't know much about sourdough discard or you don't have any on hand, I have some videos about how I store my sourdough discard and about what sourdough discard is if you're really new. So check those out to get a handle on that before you attempt this recipe. So if you have sourdough discard on hand, you're going to mix up a mixture of flour, some baking soda, and salt. So first that dry mixture comes together and we blend that. And once the dry mixture is blended together, we will add some cold butter that we will cut in with forks, or if you have a pastry cutter, you can use that as well. So keep cutting the butter into this flour mixture until you just see little pieces that are about the size of peas of butter and it's thoroughly mixed in. Once the butter and dry ingredients are combined, then it's time to add your sourdough discard and some whole milk. If you want to supplement water, check out the recipe for how to use water instead of milk for this one. Mix these together. The runny consistency of the sourdough starter discard makes it a great way to add a liquid and create that fermentation that we want in our digestible sourdough products like sourdough dumplings. And it combines really well. So even if you use water in place of the milk, the sourdough discard, if it's left to ferment, it's going to add a lot of flavor and it will act almost like a buttermilk in our dumpling dough. Make sure that you cover your bowl of dumplings with plastic wrap or with a plate. And this is going to sit at room temperature for at least 2 hours, even up to 8 hours, for it to ferment and become more digestible. But there is a rising agent in there. There is that baking soda, so you will get that big bloom while it's baking in the pot later. If you're traveling soon or planning to take a trip, this is one of my favorite go-to recipes for when I'm traveling with my family. So check out the video where I explain how to travel with sourdough starter by car or by airplane. At the end of your dough's fermentation time, it's time to start your soup base, your chicken soup. We are using some basic vegetables, some celery, onion, carrots, and we have our chicken breast. We have a few spices. You can make this really simple with just a few ingredients. There's a few other options that you can add in, but this is the simplest way that I make it. So we chop all our ingredients. We're gonna dice up our onion, dice up our celery, so it's nice and thin. Our carrots, I like to cut a little thicker so that they don't get too mushy when I cook my dumplings. Get everything in place so it's easy to make my soup. The first thing that's gonna go into our large pot, and I'm at a vacation rental for the filming of this video, so I'm using a different pot. At home, I would use my large 6-quart Lodge cast iron pot for this one. So there's enough room for everything to expand and nothing's gonna bubble over. So first, melt the unsalted butter. Once your butter's melted, you will throw in your onions, let those start to soften and become fragrant, then add in your celery, stir that around. And so while those vegetables are cooking, we're gonna actually cook the outside of the chicken breast so it gets that sear on the outside and creates good flavor to our broth and really makes these flavors stronger. So add in the chicken breast. I'm using a skinless, boneless chicken breast here. See the full recipe for some ideas of using different cuts of chicken. Let those cook and add in your thyme. I'm using fresh sprigs of thyme. I didn't even take the leaves off of the branches, but feel free to strip off your leaves off your fresh thyme, or you can also use dried thyme for this recipe. So as this is sauteing and those flavors are starting to come out from the thyme and our vegetables, make sure you turn your chicken over so both sides get seared. And once the outside of your chicken is fully seared, your onions are translucent, your celery is soft, then we're going to add our chicken stock. And you can use bone broth chicken stock, and you can even use water. Check out the recipe for my comments on water. But I'm using some store-bought chicken broth here. And once the broth is added, I'm going to add my spices, and I'm also going to add in my carrots. Bring this to a boil, and once you see those large bubbles, it's time to cover the pot and let this simmer and cook for about 12 minutes. After 12 minutes has passed, lift up your top, and I like to add some peas to mine if I have them available. I didn't have them at the time making this video. So if you want to use frozen peas, this is when you would add those, because those cook very fast. Or if you want to use broccoli, that's really delicious as well. And now the fun part, we're going to take the dumpling dough, and you can see that the fermentation has changed the texture of mine. It looks a little bit more light and airy. So I'm going to drop it in with large heaping tablespoons full. Scatter these around the pot so they're evenly dispersed over the top of the soup. We're going to bring it to a boil again. And so once you see those large bubbles and it's boiling, put the top of the pot on and turn it down to that low boil or that simmer again. And it's going to simmer like this for about 18 to 20 minutes. And so as we lift the top after the timer goes off, you should see your dumplings expanded. They should cover pretty much the whole top of the soup. And you should take a toothpick and fork to check them. And when you poke that toothpick or fork in, it should come out clean. And that shows that these dumplings are completely cooked and done. If it's coming out sticky or with dough on it, then recover it and continue cooking for a few more minutes until a toothpick or a fork comes out clean. And now once your dumplings are cooked, you're done. Turn off the heat, let it sit for a minute so it's not too hot, and you're going to ladle this into bowls for your family or your friends and enjoy this delicious meal. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you make this recipe. It is definitely one of our weekly go-tos, especially in the fall and the winter when it's a little bit colder and we want that comforting feel. And I find that this is really easy to put together even just on a busy Saturday for a cozy end of the day as you sit at the table together. So if you make this recipe, make sure that you let me know how it goes. Give this video a like and share it with a friend. And if you want more sourdough help and videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. And I hope that you find more ways to connect with sourdough and with bread.